So one final odds-related exercise I wanted to do, shorter time control. Remember that exercise I tortured you with in our last session? We're not going to do that full scale. We're just going to play one game. I'm going to give you 5 minutes, and I'm going to give up queen and 2 rooks. And I want to see if you can beat me.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
But no hints. And we're just going to do this once, I promise.
Fuck yeah, that one was embarrassing.
Five minutes, and I'm going to tell you, give you the instructions about the first couple moves as I did previously.
Okay.
All right, so let's do 5-5. I did. All right, challenged. Okay, so go move your knight out to f6. Take the queen. Bring your d pawn to d6. Take the rook. Bishop e6.
Bishop e6. Oh.
Yes. And take the rook. And now start. And this time I can confirm stuff you ask, but I basically want you to beat me. All right. I'm going to mute myself for now. And just want you guys to know that, I do cuss with Charlie and stuff. And it's not because I'm trying to change my personality or anything. That's just the chemistry that we've built. I hope people understand that. That should not be a surprise to anybody. And I'm sorry if there are any kids watching or stuff, but parents, you should know that. And I try to keep it to a minimum, but that just does happen with Charlie and stuff. I know you guys know. I know you guys are doing, but I just did want to clarify that point. Yeah, I know you guys are kidding. But I did just want to clarify that. Okay, so I'm just going to develop my pieces. I want to see how Charlie's able to handle this material. Will he do stuff like open the center? Will he be able to follow principles? Will he be able to avoid blunders and play quickly? And I'm giving him 5 minutes here, which is a lot of time to win a position like this. But he is rusty, so I would understand it if he doesn't. He's fianchettoing his bishop. How much do my lessons cost? So I'm not taking any students on right now. And I don't usually reveal stuff like my thank you to the FPSter. Appreciate everybody's support and the subs and really everything. It's awesome. I might have missed some subs. I've disabled the alerts during this session so we can more easily put it on YouTube. And we have Jan Nepanishi in the chat. Wow, what an honor. We have Nepo in the chat. Really just absolutely hopping party here. I'm going to go d5. c5 is a really good move. Charlie is showing signs that he knows to open the center. Let's just see if he can cleanly win this game. Wow, this is awesome. Well, welcome, Nepo. I think he needs to learn from this as well. I don't think he would be able to win this in 5 minutes, honestly. Okay, takes the bishop. Good job. JMPY gifting to Nepo. Thank you. Yes, only you would need 6 minutes at least. Yeah, we're down 2 rooks and a queen. But Charlie's overthinking where to put the bishop. So bishop g4 here. I'll commentate the game. Bishop g4 would be the best move. It just, pressuring the knight. You could also drop the bishop back. And I want to make this point to Charlie. He's always had trouble making retreating moves. Retreating moves are part of chess. There isn't an inherent reason why they're bad. Okay, good. My sore throat is beginning to pass, which is good. And all I needed was a healthy dose of Charlie. So, yes, okay, perfect. Now, obviously, I'm going to move my knight away. And I'm not going to let him trade any pieces voluntarily. Now, what would you do, guys, if you were black? What would you do if you were black here? What would be a good thing to do here? Yeah, knight f4 would be a great move, activating the knight that's on the rim. I'm a little bit worried Charlie's going to do... Okay, he castles, good. So I'm going to chase his bishop away. Bishop to d. Let's see how easily he makes... Yeah, nice. Okay, he's actually playing very well for the most part. He's doing some stuff that's... He's blundering a little bit. He's stumbling in certain positions. Nice e6, opening the center, Benoni style. Now I'm going to try to activate my knight preemptively. I hope he doesn't take. If he takes... I take with the knight, he has some stuff to deal with. What would be a good thing for black here? Knight f4 would be a good move, so that you could basically take on your own terms. That's going to be something I want to explain to him. Another thing you could do is go something like b5. chase the knight away. That would be another good move. And yeah, he's nervous, but this is important because it's f5. Good, opening up the center. Okay, I'm gonna take, and I'm gonna try to get one of my knights to the d5 square. Awesome, thank you, Jack Kelly. Well, appreciate you being part of the community. E5. Alright, E5. E5 D6. Oh my god, I missed an amazing positional breakthrough. Okay, so D5. Does he really want this? Oh my lands, girl. Queen G3 check, really? Wow, that's actually very impressive. I'm quite impressed right now the way he's playing. I will never tell that to him, of course. I call myself a well, and you call yourself a moderator. Oh, my lands, girl. Okay, now I'm running out of pieces. He just wants to take on knight f4. The best strategy in these positions, just trade off the remaining pieces so you don't have anything to worry about. What was I worried about? What was I worried about? He just lost. Oh. What was I worried about? All right, I'm going to take. Let's see how he reacts to this. Yeah, I'm down to play a little bit of Blitz with somebody after my session with Charlie. What was I worried about? All right, rook to e8 would be a great move here. Just bring the rook in. Okay. That was unnecessary. There was no need to bring the queen back. Knight f4 would have also been good, yes. Knight f4 would have also been good. Yeah, so we're gonna look at this game. Probably he's gonna jump back into the pool for 1 or 2 more games, and we'll call it a session. I mean, this is awesome. He's actually retained a lot of his strength, and I'm actually very happy to see it. Now, again, full disclosure, guys, I don't know who is in PogChamps 3. Honest to God, it's not like I've been told not to say it. I simply do not know. I know Mr. Beast is playing. That was leaked. That's all I know. I don't know whether Charlie's been reinvited. I really hope so. If Charlie was invited to PogChamp 3, I will brook no trespass to make sure he is in a position to win the whole thing. I'm going to go c3. Now 2 undefended pieces. He can attack both with queen e3. Oh, man. That's a good expression. Remember that expression. That's a good expression, actually. It's an old school expression. You can look it up. It's a good expression. Dude, we would grind. I think Charlie would have the... I really hope he's invited. If there's anyone who deserves it, it's this guy. I mean, look at how he's playing. This is a guy who barely knew the rules of chess before PogChamps 1. And he's just smoothly converting this. And people can take it for granted, but this represents some really good work. He's playing extremely well. Knight f4 is checkmate. He just needs to realize that he just needs to activate that one last piece. Queen e1. What was I worried about? My throbbing. Oh, it's throbbing again. I wouldn't mind helping XTC out either. It's not like I'm playing competitor here, but Charlie will always have a place in my heart, of course. Okay, King h2. This is exactly what we practiced for. Yeah, if I had a rook on a1, okay, I would also recommend taking the knight here. That would have been a reasonable alternative to that. Shinobu 2S, thank you for the sub. Yeah, I think Charlie's gonna win this now. I think he has enough pieces.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
What was I worried about? That was actually really nice. That was pretty smooth.
Thanks,
and
man.
There were times I was predicting, what would the best move would be, and you made it. I really only have 1 or 2 points even to make. And I will make them. So 1 sec. And did you ever thought you'd be beating up a GM like this?
I know.
Wildest
I had to
dreams.
abuse you today. I'm sorry about that. Jesus, that was ruthless.
Nothing to apologize for. All right. I invited you to an analysis board.
Okay. I feel like I had a much better attacking opportunity after I made that check with the knight and the queen, but I didn't see it in time.
And this was the start of the game or the end?
Towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, toward the end, there were several ways you could attack in a slightly more efficient way, but I'll put it this way. You didn't give me any chances. So everything you did in the start was good. You deployed your queen. The one thing that I hope you notice is that the bishop x-rays the queen, which means I can move my knight out, let's say, to d5. And if I were to do that, where would you go with your queen? You actually have only one good square.
Yeah, with the only square is d8, right?
Yeah, which is okay. And again, I want to remind you, retreating moves are totally acceptable. And I was happy with your capacity to make them, just queen back, and now c5 is really good, opening the center. I assume that was your idea.
Yep.
And yeah, I tried to keep the center closed. And in the chat, I have the honor of having one of the top players in the world, and he suggested the move e5. That would have probably complicated the position more. And basically, I want you to understand the idea, though. e5. If d takes e5, what is white's next move going to be?
You just take with the knight, right?
Well, then queen takes knight.
Oh, right. Okay, wait.
This is a classic pawn breakthrough.
Is it just pushing the d5 pawn?
It's pushing the d5 pawn to d6. So I want you to calculate in your head. Pawn up to d6. What does that accomplish? What does that threaten?
It attacks my queen.
It attacks the queen. And 1 second. It attacks the queen. Queen moves away, let's say, to d8. What does white do? What is going to be that follow-up to that move?
After queen falls to d8, you have pawn on d6. Do you move knight up now?
You move the knight up and take e5.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so this is the idea. And I'll show you right after the game. Like, in terms of understanding how you find this stuff, that's why analyzing, when you're, full-scale going for improvement, that's why reading books is really important. That's why looking at games is important, because you see these literal concepts applied in games, and then you can transfer them to your own games. But once I took... everything you did was d5 was freaking sexy as hell. This was a really, really nice idea. Sacking the pawn, getting the queen to g3. This basically ends the game, but I want you to tell me where you think you missed that bigger chance.
Where did you play after I made this move? I don't remember.
I went king f1.
Okay. So when I made the move, I thought I had a much better idea. I thought I could also take pawn, but I obviously wouldn't get anything out of it if I take your h4 pawn. I mean, I guess I take and then slide to h1 maybe, but...
Maybe, yeah, or knight to g3. I mean, there's so many ways to do it here. What I really liked about what you did is you developed the rest of your pieces. That's the principle that I want to hammer home, is never forget about the rest of your pieces. Always bring everything into the attack. That makes it a lot stronger, and you did that. The one criticism I have in this position, you don't actually need to bring your queen back. You can play rook a to e8. And what's the idea if I just take the pawn with the knight?
I'm just swinging down at e1 for the checkmate.
Bingo. Checkmate on e1, and that would have ended the game a little bit faster, but everything you did was totally fine. And rook a8 was good here, just not ignoring the knight. Yeah, perfect. I mean, you don't have to stack the rooks. You can go like rook e2 straight away.
Yeah, I actually don't even know why I stacked the rooks. I think it was like, I don't know, time pressure, just wasn't thinking, just going
trying to
like
rub it in my face. I mean, that's really what you were trying to do.
But, yeah, that's what it is.
But this was well done. So just really quickly, as you were thinking, I looked up on my program here whether I could find examples of this precise breakthrough happening. And I found a couple of good examples. Here's one of them. So let's see if this actually works. The position setup is notorious. But let's see if... Can you see the position Let me check your stream.
Yeah, it's a different position.
Awesome. Yeah, you actually see it. So this is a game between Wolfgang Pietsch and Gunther Moring. So white was a GM. This was 1961, Germany. So that's the beauty. You can find these random games. And what do you think white does in this position?
White breaking through?
Yeah. So literally apply the same concept that you had in your game to this game. Because notice that black's king is uncastled and white's king is castled. So if you can open up the center, you are able to exploit in a better way the fact that black is not castled. if you need me to remind you what your idea was, or what my idea was that I could have done in the game, happy to do that.
Is it pushing that pawn up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, which
cool.
one?
So white's pushing up it's e5,
Yes.
right?
So e5. You're clearing the path, and now?
And now you're pushing that pawn again, right, to d6?
Exactly. And you're ripping open the center, trying to keep black's king in the center. That's literally what white did. So that's what this GM did. And let's say you were to read this in a book, you wouldn't have forgotten this idea, and you would be more able to find this kind of stuff. That's how like pattern recognition works.
Mm-hmm.
So this random game in like 1961 can teach you about, you know, this concept. And just one more quick thing. Just 1 second. Just because I have to show you a game from the Soviet Union, because that's to pay homage to my ancestors. This is another example. You see the new position?
Yep.
You see the bishop on c4, x-raying the king. How do we make that x-ray come alive?
Well, we need to move the d5 pawn, which is blocked by the d6 pawn on black, so you're pushing e4.
Exactly. We need to get that pawn out. Boom. Look at this monster, and d6, black's position collapses. And white won the game.
Nice.
And yeah, that's Tolush. White was a very strong attacking player from the Soviet Union. Again, 1961. So anyways, just wanted to inspire you a little bit. So does this make sense? Does everything make sense in the odds game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you played perfectly, actually. So I'm pretty encouraged. So for the home stretch, what do you say you hop back in for 1 or 2 more games, and then we'll summarize whenever you're ready. Of course, JMDM Okay, the Sicilian.
Damn. What was the line that you told me to play here? Is it pushing d4 next?
d4, correct. You want to? That's called the open. Literally called the open Sicilian. Okay. Now you don't want to. Again, you don't want to react to this, because if he takes your knight, you can simply take with the queen. So you can just develop normally.
Yep.
Bingo. Now your bishops. Where do they belong?
Isn't it f4? Or yeah, f4 for this bishop.
Even more. Oh, so you mean the light squared bishop?
The dark square bishop.
More active than f4. F4 blunders a fork to e5, so you can put it on g5.
I see. Okay.
So yeah, if you put it on f4, he goes e5 there. Ooh. Okay.
That's kind of wacky. I don't know how to exploit that though.
So think about his knight on f6. He's actually weakened his control over that knight. If you take the knight on f6, notice that he has to ruin his entire pawn structure by taking with that pawn. Mm-hmm. So I would do that.
You think that's worth it? Okay.
It is worth it, because his pawn structure is going to be terrible. Now I would immediately prepare queenside castle, because you were going to attack him on the king side, and you want to tuck your king away on the queen side.
Okay, and what is the most active development for queen? Is it going over here to like f3?
Well, your queen's defending the knight, so you want to keep it on the d file. Right. And I would put it on d2. I would prevent black's bishop from coming out to h6 and stopping you from castling. So, and if he plays bishop g7 and fianchettos, look at that pawn on d6. You see that it's weak, right? It's undefended by any other pawns. Sorry. You heard me there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now he's attacking your knight. How can you defend it? Where can you put it?
Yeah, I just need to move it. There's nothing else I can defend it with. Do I just drop it back to like either? Well, what's better?
Well, b3 would be good, because that stops him from taking the pawn on b2.
Okay.
Yeah, just a low-key move, but it's a good one. Thanks, Best Beetle, for gifting. And look at his queen on b6. You can attack that queen in the future by playing... Okay, actually. Complete the development first.
So now I'm castling queenside. Mm-hmm. And then to attack the queen, is it bringing the knight over to a4?
So that brings the knight to the rim. Can you actually... Okay, so first he takes this.
Do I take back with the c-pawn, or does it not really matter here?
Doesn't matter. C-pawn is good, keeping that a-pawn where it closes up the a-file. Whoa! Holy smokes! Whoa! Oh my god! Jesus! Wow, that came out of nowhere. Oh my god. That literally caused a physical reaction in me.
I could hear you fucking fall out of your chair there for a second. I thought I'd lost you.
I rolled back from my desk. The confidence with which this move was, it was like with gusto. Okay, but let's not relax. You have some developing to do.
Yeah,
Complete your development.
Is it just B5 here for the check?
Yeah, I'm like that mother that tells the child to finish their oatmeal, even though you just won the lottery or something.
Yeah.
But you still gotta finish that oatmeal.
This could be his like legendary line. This could be the one the history books remember him for.
The secondary trackster. So now you have a fork, actually. Let's practice that thing I tortured you with previously. What are the undefended pieces and pawns? How can you attack 2 of them?
Okay, so right now undefended pawns are D6. It's defended by bishop, but no pawns. F6.
F6 is completely undefended, and the knight is completely undefended.
It's right
Bingo.
here.
Forks, forks, forks. Well, his legendary... I think really the mistake that he made wasn't to take the... Okay, whoa. But careful. There's a trap that's hiding under the surface. Now you can take the pawn.
Yeah.
But if he moves his king out, you actually can't take the rook. And that is the bottom line of... That's his entire point of his variation, I think. Let's see. If he covers with the bishop, that would be very sad. I think he just might, though. I think he might unfortunately cover with his bishop. Or resign.
This guy's got some goofy strats. I wouldn't put it by him. So, well, I guess I'll wait.
Ah, he moved his king. So you can't take the rook. Why?
Let me see. If I take rook...
X-ray.
Oh, yeah. He's just gonna move bishop, right?
Yeah, check on h6.
Yep.
So you can do the next best thing. Take the stuff that you can take.
Yeah, do I just want to take this pawn then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
He's probably going to go king to b6. And then you have kind of a sexy move. All right, guys. What is my chat doing? What are you guys drawing? All right, guys. All right, guys. All right, guys. We're not going to go sub only. Please stop. We're not going to go sub only, but please stop. We're having fun, guys. We're having fun, but let's stop, please. One last request. Please stop that. It's annoying. Or we're gonna go sub only, if people can't. Guys, I don't ask a lot of you, but when I ask you to stop, please do. Okay, so okay, so you have a sexy move here. You can deliver a check to a4 with the knight. And I want you to do that, but I want you to tell me why we're not blundering the bishop once you do it. You can play the move because you've got a minute.
Okay.
He might think you blundered your bishop. That's what I'm hoping. Yes, he did. Okay, checkmate. Find it.
It's just c4, right?
Ooh, that's even sexier than the mate I had in mind. I was thinking you'd take the pawn with mate, but that's even cooler because you drop the piece back. Yes. Nice.
Cool.
Thank you for listening, guys. Exactly.
Which one did you say?
Queen takes b7, checkmate.
Okay, I see. Yeah, well, this is the one I saw right away. I thought this was kind of cute.
No, that's really nice. I mean, because the knight from the rim is defending b6. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, queen takes b3 made it a little bit easier for you. But everything was pretty straightforward. What do you say we do one last one for the road? I'm
ready. So that queen play he made, was that an accident, or did he actually get anything out of that?
No, zero. I mean, he gives up literally a queen for a pawn. I think it might have been a mouse left, like one of those things where you accidentally like pre-move something.
Mm-hmm.
But no, other than that, I mean, I honestly have no idea what went through his mind. I wonder what went through that guy's mind, but we'll never find out. Okay, e3. Interesting. The Van Cruys opening. Okay. Maybe he'll play e4 and transpose to being black.
Oh, this is a real thinker, it seems.
Yeah,
here.
yeah, Santa Claus. I think he's busy delivering presents to people. Okay. Nice. Defending the pawn. This is like a reverse French, basically.
In a position like this, a lot of times what I do is just push e4. Is that a good move or not?
It is. You close up the center. That's a different type of position. And one of the next steps to improvement is to be able to play skillfully these types of positions. Now what?
No, I've just
Yeah, knight
protected
f6 is fine, defending. And if you want to defend the pawn further, he'll probably go knight c3, which would not be his... Okay, c3. Wow, that is not very active. You want to make sure that pawn on e4 is as well protected as possible. So with that in mind, what do you want to do?
I want to go d5.
Bingo. And for the record, his best move would be to undermine this pawn chain by bringing his pawn... Okay, he does that. Wow. That's impressive after going c3. So now what you want to do, that pawn on e4, you see that it's going to become weak after he takes d5.
Yeah.
So basically you want to preemptively defend it as many times as possible so that you don't lose that pawn once he takes on d5. How do you do that?
I just developed the bishop over to f5.
Yes. Yeah, close positions can be annoying, but okay, so he takes. What do you take with?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, developing queen here and going castle long, is that a good idea, or do I just want to...
That's interesting, but if you take with the queen, he'll develop his knight to c3 and he'll attack your queen. So that's really, honestly, the litmus test for when you take with the queen. Can he attack your queen with one of his pieces? He does it anyway. So, do you want to take?
No, doesn't it make his pawn chain stronger if I take, because he takes... It
does. On the other hand, he's attacking your pawn on e4. So this would be a good time for a retreating move. Which one?
I just bring it back to its original f6.
Exactly. Defending the pawn. Okay. Now here's the thing. He is kind of threatening to take the pawn, but I would sacrifice that pawn. I'd do something pretty cool here. I would just develop normally, which means that bishop from f8 would be a nice active defended square for it.
Just bringing it up to d6.
Yeah. And here's the thing. He'll probably take the pawn in about 5 seconds. Yep.
Yeah.
Now you want to take once. And what you'll notice here is that there's a pin, right? What do you want to take on e4 with?
I want to take with bishop to attack queen, yeah?
No, but then he'll take the bishop. You want to take with a knight to preserve the pin on the queen.
Oh, I see.
And now you can deliver a check to an exposed flank. And you'll see what the result is. What check am I talking about here?
You're talking about b4?
Bingo. Here's the problem. He's probably going to very quickly cover that with a bishop. You said he was a thinker. I think you jinxed him. Now he's playing... Go ahead.
Okay.
He'll probably go bishop to d2, would be my guess.
Right.
And then once you take it, can he take back with the queen?
No, because then he gives up the knight.
Bingo. That's the power of the pin. He has to move his king out into the center. That's a pretty disastrous consequence. That's worth the freaking pawn. So go ahead.
Okay.
You see but you see the logic of what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it.
Now you need to complete your development, though. Which means...
so that just castling kingside.
And the plan is, his best move is, well, that's a good move, actually. But you can actually get that bishop off the board with one move.
Can't I fork them at b4?
Yeah. So technically, it's not a fork because you're not going to win the bishop, but you're going to take it and restore the pin.
Yeah, attacking two pieces.
Yep. Go ahead. Well, you got your prize. Take the bishop.
Can't he just take back with the king, though? Oh, it still keeps...
Yeah, well, he does. Yeah. No, but you're not winning anything. You're just restoring the pin. Now you want to open up the center, because a pin is most exploitable if you can rip apart the center.
Okay. To do that, are we looking at c5 here?
Yes, exactly. And if he takes that... Okay, yeah, he's actually started to play really, really well, but you can open up the center.
I'm still taking. That didn't change that.
Yeah, take. Open it. Now, if he takes with a pawn, which you probably will, you want to find a way to attack that d4 pawn. To attack it, you need to get a rook to d8, and you need to move the queen to a square where it pressures the pawn. Which square am I talking about?
d5?
Or b6, because then that leaves the rook to attack the pawn alone, if that makes sense.
Okay, so b6 is... wait.
Yeah. Queen b6 is good because also you're attacking the b2 pawn.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, this guy has all of us... Okay. So what now? Now you can just take the free pawn on b2.
Is that better? Do I want to set up for this d8 pin?
Well, if you go to d8, he'll move his king back. I think that's the idea of his last move. So you need to change your plans a little bit, take some pawns.
I get you.
Okay. Now what? There's
now
another free...
d8. Oh, wait. No, I can just swing over here for this g2.
Yeah, other pawn. Exactly. He's probably going to go rook to d2. I think I know the type of player he is. Let's see. He's going to put something on the second rank. You can kind of
I'm hoping it's his queen. And then I
well, that would be kind of good, though.
Yeah, that'd be very nice.
Okay, first rank. He blunders another pawn.
Yeah, so now I'm still just taking this h2.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now you're 2 pawns up. Now the knight on e4 is what you need to be paying attention to. That knight is... Okay, he moves it and he... Actually, you've got checkmate. You don't even need to take his knight. Look at his king. His king is confined, which means if you give him a check, it's going to be mate. What do?
Is it just going to g3?
Nope. Queen is guarding the king. What other checkmate? He's opened up the e-file. Put a rook there.
Oh, and then he takes and I take back.
Yes, and it's checkmate.
Yeah.
So pre-move rook takes e8. He's probably going to think you blundered the rook. If he brings his knight back to e4, which would be the correct move, you can take the knight with the bishop. And now it's going to be checkmate. Yeah, go ahead and deliver the mate.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, correct. Now, but take your time after queen e2. Which way do you take the queen?
What's that?
Which way do you take the queen?
What do you mean?
Okay, what is the mate here?
It's just taking the queen with queen.
With the queen. Just making sure you know that.
Yeah, okay. You scared me for a second.
Yeah, with 6 seconds, like, oh my god. So that guy was weird. He played well for certain stretches. Sorry, what were you saying?
I just panicked there at the end there for a second. I thought I had less time.
All right, your ball's like frozen. Oh my god. So that guy was weird. He played well for certain stretches. Sorry, what were you saying?
I just panicked there at the end there for a second. I thought I had less time.
All right, your ball's like frozen. Oh my god. So, okay, let's very quickly talk about it, then maybe make a couple summarizing points. And what do you say to that?
Sounds good.
All right, let me invite you. Wow, you're really winning these games with seconds on the clock. Photo finishes. So basically, okay. Turbo Fisto. Yeah, invited. Did you get the invite?
Toss it one more time.
Sure. I was like, you're not even gonna reply to me when I'm inviting you to something. I'm kind of an asshole, aren't you?
Well, I've already beaten you once today. I don't respect you anymore.
I see. It's gotten to your head. Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I feared. So basically here, this move makes sense, right? Attacking the base of the pawn chain. When there's a pawn chain, you want to attack the base, like removing the Jenga block from the bottom, right? So everything collapses. So you're overprotecting the e4 pawn, bringing the knight back. And now you're sacrificing it. This is the key concept. Because of the pin, his queen is immobilized, which means his queen can't move away from this diagonal, and he's understaffed in the other parts of the board, if that makes sense. So you make his king move because he can't take with the queen. He would blunder his knight.
So I had a question for that position. Before you move the bishop, would it have been viable to just attack the queen on b4 to try and relinquish the control it has over e4?
That's a good move conceptually, but it's a blunder tactically because he can take on d6 with check.
Okay.
And then what can he do?
And then he just takes bishop.
Yeah, exactly. So if you were castled, for example, that would be a perfectly good move. So castling here would also be possible to set that up, but he would probably stop it. So now you castle, and knight b4, right? I wanted to make clear that you're not actually winning any pieces here immediately, but the bishop on d3 is an annoying piece because it blocks the pin, and it lets his queen have mobility. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And now opening the center. So if he had taken on c5, how specifically do you win the piece here?
I just take the knight with bishop, right?
Exactly. And because of the other pin, you just win a piece.
Yeah.
So he goes f3, which is a really good move. He's protecting the knight. Now queen b6. Why not queen d5? This is the concept of like the queen as the supporting actress. If you play queen d5, look what happens. You go rook, let's say white makes something random. And now you're like, great, you take the pawn. And white just says, big shit, you trade queens, okay? And you've won only a pawn. Now let's compare this to if you put the queen on b6 as you did. Now what do you take the pawn with?
The rook.
Exactly. And you pin the queen. So you see the queen is supporting the rook and the rook is doing the actual capturing. Because of the logic that winning the queen is best done with as weak of a resource as possible. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So when you're thinking of piling, what is the conclude specific rule here. When you're piling up on a pawn, you usually don't want the queen to lead that operation. You want the queen to be the general from behind, normally.
Okay,
and
that makes
also,
sense.
you have this one thing, which is that this is the form of tunnel vision where you want it to go here. Do you
Yep.
see what white would have done had you done that? Look, what was the idea of this move? This was actually kind of a sensible idea.
He was just gonna move his king out of the way.
Yes, and that helps make his king safer, and the fact of the matter is, this is not the important pawn anymore. Now you want to take here. What if he
Okay.
had blocked with his queen? What would you have done?
I could have delivered a check at b4 and then. Well, that's not
You're
very
close,
good.
but he's relinquished his control over something.
Yeah, he's got the knight just hanging now.
No, that knight is defended.
Oh Jesus! Oh man.
Very close to getting something chopped off right now.
Yeah.
Just as you were
He
about to
just
escape
left the
on a
pawn
high
open.
note,
He
and
just left the pawn open.
the pawn open.
Yeah.
So again, it's always about making a map of the board. What is weak? What do I need to watch for? And you need to watch those things constantly. Okay, has he relinquished his control over that? Right? And here the pawn would be high on your list. So now takes. And here, the key concept. What can you do here? What's the obvious move that wins a lot of material?
Taking the knight.
Taking the knight. But rook e8 check. The point is the queen is cutting off the king. Kind of like the checkmate we learned at the start of our, little shindig. Remember we learned the two rooks mate that like time in the 1970s. You remember that?
Yeah.
It's back when we were young and we were still going on runs and stuff. Man, now we're just old men sitting around computers.
These old veterans.
Those were the days. I hung out with Carol Traxler. I mean, it was good.
a good man.
Yeah, at least it's not because Carol is a name and then Karen is an Armenian name. So I have a friend whose name is Karen. It's pronounced Karen. But people look at it and they're like, what? Karen Gregorian. And they're like, hi, Karen. But it's actually a male name in Armenia. So, same with Carol. I guess Carol is also a female name in the U.S. But anyways, rook e8. You deliver, the queen holds the king down. And if he takes on e8, then what do? Thanks, Beast Beetle.
Take back e8.
Thanks for the gift to the tier 2 Dominican. Appreciate it. This is just checkmate. Knight e4, bishop takes c4. Last question to you. You better end on a high nut, or I'll chop those nuts up right before you escape. If he goes queen e2, what is the best move for black? And what I'm really asking you here is it a good idea to take the queen? Is there anything better?
I don't see why you wouldn't just go h1. Isn't that, or not h1, g1? Isn't that just checkmate?
King can escape.
Oh, I give us. Oh, she gets a square.
What you need to watch for is this, right?
Yeah.
What does your brain need to signal to? The queen and the king are on the same file, which means what? And you
That
have
means
many good moves here.
It's X, right? So if I just get the bishop out of the way, she can't attack. So I just
Anywhere,
take
really.
pawn.
But you can also just, while you're at it, you can just take on f3.
Right.
But even, bishop frickin' b1 is good. It's about the theme, exploiting the theme here of the queen being x-rayed and pinned.
Yeah.
And 1. Exactly. And by the way, if rook d2, bishop b1, rook d2, find the checkmate in one move. Now it's your move.
Well, yeah, now that the square is cut off, now it is just g2.
Exactly.
Or g1.
And here he takes, you take, it's checkmate. Very good. So things to watch for. Conclusions. You're still very sharp at one move tactics and stuff. You're not blundering pieces. And how does it feel? Do you feel relatively in the zone, sharp? Is there anything that you kind of struggle with so I can factor that in for next
Just
time?
time again, yeah. And priorities. I don't really know when I should be taking pawns or looking for something better. When the pawns are free, I'll typically look for something better still.
Yeah, I noticed that even with pieces. Sometimes there's a free piece, but you're looking at winning the queen. And that's something that, will definitely break down is when do you take a pawn, when do you look for something more? And also, I know you're dreading, but we'll eventually have to do that exercise with me giving you 1 minute and having you win positions with down a queen and 2 rooks. I actually think that helped. You've gotten noticeably faster. And I'm not going to pretend that that's a spillover all from that, but I think that definitely contributed. So by and large, I'm happy with where you are. I think you've got the basics down. And I'm just, again, I'm really grateful that you made time for this. I know it's not easy to get abused by me, but
It's always welcomed. It's good abuse, I would say. Some of the
well,
best I've ever experienced.
you're just making me blush now.
The gentle fist, they call you.
Well, they call you the Turbo Fist. Well, all right, Chad. I think that was a good amount of time. I think I packed you with enough information, tortured you enough. I'll let you do overdoses on ketamine and other such stuff.